Alright, time for the first video of 2026, and it's howling a gale outside my window, so hopefully that doesn't come across on the voiceover. I've kind of delayed a couple of days because the weather has been so bad here, but at this point I don't want to waste any more time. So if it's terrible today and if it's terrible over the next couple of days, I'm still going to record some more videos. Over the festive period, I've really just been focusing on uploading as many videos, as many unused videos as I could from last year. But we just had an update and I really don't want to continue uploading old stuff. So what we're going to do today is look at one of the first runs that I've recorded on the new update. And we're also going to look at some of the new cosmetics. So you can see them in the background there. We've got this concert stage with all the mascots performing. I think the bee with the saxophone is absolutely hilarious. And then we've also got the chameleon mascot. Now, I don't think I've ever had a game on the channel where I've played using a mascot. I've probably watched someone else's game, you know, like footage that was submitted, because most people I think tend to play with a mascot. So I'm sure there has been mascot gameplay on the channel before, just not with me playing. But yeah, these are brand new cosmetics that are exclusive to the web store, which is really nice because, you know, obviously it's extra steps to go to the web store and buy something. And I think the only way that people are realistically going to do that when there isn't a new pack is if there's some incentive to do so, and so exclusive material, I think, makes a lot of sense. So besides this background and the chameleon mascot, there are two other mascots. I think it's lion and lobster. And then there's also a new entrance animation as well, which probably will start showing up in videos as other people use it. But I'll leave that so it's a surprise for anyone who doesn't already know what it is. The link to the web store is in the description below, as always. But yeah, let's have a look at this run. So I wanted to record something that I thought would be very quick. And recording this took a lot more attempts than I thought it was going to. One of the big changes with this update is the difficulty level. So I did mention this in another video the other day, that there are now four different choices for difficulty levels, and you can opt into them at any time. So previously what would happen is when you created a new account, you would start in the lower matchmaking bracket. And then after a certain amount of time or after a certain amount of wins, we don't really know what the trigger was, you would move up into the higher bracket and start facing more difficult teams. So now that's a completely optional process. So you could be a brand new player, fire up the game, and you could choose to go straight in at the deep end and start playing against more difficult opponents. And that's definitely something that SAP has been lacking, I think. I think it was fine to have it be easy for beginners, but you know, it can be frustrating if you get stuck in the beginner division for a long time, even though you know what you're doing. But equally, if you're in the higher bracket, it can be frustrating that, you know, the only way you can really play, you know, just a very casual, easy game is to create a new account or play as a guest. And no one wants to do that. You know, if you spent time playing on your own account, you want to be gaining the snacks and gaining the achievements and so on without having to start over. So I think in that sense this is a positive change. However, I do think there are probably some adjustments that are going to be needed to try and make this whole switch to optional difficulty work a bit better. I think it's only been a week or so, so it's not really surprising that everything isn't firing on all cylinders just yet. But I have actually seen quite a few people already commenting on the fact that they're really enjoying the fact that they can just choose to play an easier difficulty mode or opt into an even higher difficulty mode. So positive signs there, I would say. Now, what else has changed? There have been a bunch of balance changes, I'm sure, and there are a bunch more on the test server at the moment. Because it's been a busy festive period, I haven't really played much of the test server. I have checked the changelog, but I haven't been playing, so there isn't any test footage at the moment ready to go. But if I come up with anything, that will probably be one of the videos in the next week or so. Lots of good stuff for customs coming. A lot of the weaker pets, especially the free-to-play pets that are quite weak, are getting buffs. So hopefully that should encourage some more free-to-play players to take the plunge into customs. Now in the background here, I accidentally rolled past the love potion, but thankfully at the second attempt I remembered to buy it. And then opponent here is also a very small team. Pretty unlikely that the matchmaking would be able to find another 2 squad on turn 12 there, but it did find a 3 squad. And I actually thought this was going to be super easy to win, just going for Flying Fish with Taper, but it actually took a bunch of attempts. And yeah, the strength of the opposing teams does vary quite drastically, I would say. There are definitely a bunch of experienced players playing the easy difficulty mode, and their teams, like this one I'm playing against here, can still be faced by people playing hard or super hard. So that's quite a big change, and it is going to take some time to get used to. But I think at the same time, any change is a good change, because things have been the way they were for a very long time. And it's a new year, so we should all be trying new things, I think. Actually, you can see that team didn't have 9 trophies, so that's the other big change, is that you don't match with hearts and trophies anymore. It's only the turn count. I guess I'll talk about all that stuff in more detail in a future video, but for now I just wanted to make sure there was something to keep things ticking over.